In this video, I'm going to tackle exactly why online lead generation does not work. I'm going to roll the intro and we're going to hop right into it. What is happening? Hope everyone is doing well. We have a Starbucks Grande Blonde Latte. I want to chat about automate, delegate, remove. Today, I want to chat about mindset. Today, I want to chat about becoming a lifelong learner. Today, we are talking about sales processes. So we're going to entitle these live sessions Coffee with Cody. Hello and good day, and thanks for tuning into another episode of Coffee with Cody. Hope you're doing well. Hope you got a ton of value out of yesterday. I went really deep into when you need to consider online lead generation, and I titled this specific live, Why Online Lead Generation Does Not Work. So I hope you get a ton of value today. Really, my goal is to kind of walk you through some of the reasons why your online lead gen might not actually be working. It could be the platform, could be multiple different things. And I'm going to walk you through what you need to do in order to make it work, because it does work, but it doesn't always work. And I'm going to explain that today. One of the biggest things that I've learned along the way inside of our business is that there really are a few key things to understand when you're trying to actually get new business in the door. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my iPad screen, and we're going to walk you through the 3 steps and the three phases that new clients go through before they physically get to a point where they're ready to work with you. And really, there's 3 phases that I've come to realize. And the first phase is a lead. And what is a lead? A lead is somebody that opts in, that might have showed interest. They could potentially give us their phone number. That might be a potential. Then maybe they have opted in, they've given us their email. This is somebody that has really shown interest. And that's really what a lead is. A lead is somebody that has shown interest. You might have not actually spoken to this person yet, but a lead is somebody that has actually shown interest, has given us their name, their email address, and their phone number. They're just entering our world for the very first time. We know, and we chatted about this yesterday, that the buying cycle in many specific worlds is 3 to 18 months, if not more. It can be even longer than that. It could be 36 months. And the interesting thing that Dan Kennedy says consistently, I'm pretty sure it's Dan Kennedy, is the person that can spend the most to acquire clients, the person that wins. And this is why it's so important that we say to build your database. So I think where people struggle with online lead generation is they look too short-sighted. They say, okay, this lead immediately opts into my CRM. They should immediately be a client now. And that's just not realistic. That's not how business works. That's just phase 1. Phase 1 is generating the lead. Phase 2 is actually getting a prospect or setting an appointment. This is somebody that has actually physically raised their hand. You can generate a lead. You can get a name and an email address and a phone number, but in order to get them over the line, you need to have a conversation. But even in the prospect phase, even in the appointment setting phase, you still don't have a new client. You know, like we chatted about yesterday, you still need to talk about your skills, about who you are, what separates you from everyone else, why you. And this is really where, in the prospecting phase of the actual lead generation cycle, it's so important to have a clear, concise understanding of who you are, what you do, why you do it, have that elevator pitch down pat, because you're going up against, in phase 2, in this prospective appointment, you are going up against people that make wildish claims like, I guarantee you I'll sell you a home in 60 days, or I will buy your home. You're going up against that. When you're a real estate agent, you can generate all these leads, and a lot of these leads are probably buying and selling real estate with other people. But in that prospecting phase, it's all about what our head real estate coach calls your unique hero identity. Like, who are you? What do you do? Why you do it? And that's something that we talk about inside of the Real Estate Growth Academy, is your unique hero identity. Hope I didn't butcher that. And then phase 3 is the client. Like, actually getting to the point where the actual client is ready to choose you, getting the client under contract. Now, there's a few different things that I want to take you through about, coming back to the big three that I think that you need to consider when you're actually generating online leads. Is there's really three things. I'm going to draw another, triangle here and go through this with you really quickly, because I think this will provide you some value. The big thing that I've come to realize is that it takes 22 touch points for somebody to make a buying decision. That's a lot of touch points, just for even somebody to get from lead to prospect. So in order for somebody to go here to prospect, it's going to take 22 touch points for them to even consider having a conversation with you. These are just the stats. We know that it can require up to 35 calls to just even get somebody on the phone, to get them to an appointment, to get them to actually believe that your solution is the right solution. And this is really where your unique hero identity really comes in. And this is what we teach inside the Real Estate Growth Academy, is this understanding that there's more to business than just essentially getting somebody on the phone and expecting that they choose you over every other realtor. There's 65,000 realtors in Toronto alone. The next thing I want to talk about is your marketing and your sales ability. Like when you actually put things into perspective, like when it comes from a marketing and sales perspective, like this is your brand. This is your likability. And this is your ability to actually communicate. And in the 22 touch points, this is your consistency. Are you being consistent with your follow-up? In order to do online lead generation well, you need to be consistent. You need to come to a point where those 22 touch points and that consistency is an actual thing. And the last thing is are you actually tracking? Are you tracking leads? This is an important thing to track. Are you tracking lead to appointment rate? Are you tracking clients under contract? Are you tracking number of conversations? In order to do online lead generation really well, something I've realized over the last couple of years is not only does it take 22 touch points, not only that's where the kind of the consistency comes in. Not only do you have to have good brand, good likability, you need to be able to communicate your message clearly. And that was what I chatted about literally 2 minutes ago, about the, coming up with your unique hero identity, like who you are and what you do and what is the result you provide for people. And this could be niching down. It could be an example in the real estate industry is we help you sell your waterfront property in 60 days or less. And if we don't do that, we buy the property for you. That's a unique, it's very niche, and it's a result that you get a client every single time. Something to consider is your brand, your likability, your ability to communicate your message to an end consumer. And then the last thing is the tracking. I think a lot of reasons why online lead generation doesn't necessarily work is, number one is for a lot of people is the long-term buying cycle. It's people will try out one thing and then they'll give it up too soon. Put that in perspective. If we know that it takes 22 touch points for somebody to make a buying decision, and we know that it's going to take 3 to 18 months for somebody to convert, why are we only doing things in 1 to 2 month windows? That just doesn't make sense. It's not enough time in order to actually get an idea of, is this strategy going to work or is it not going to work? Because, again, we run ads every single month for inside of our business. Does every single person convert? Absolutely not. I mentioned earlier, I've been literally courting this person for 2 years. They finally decided to work with us, but it's been 2 years through, email drip campaigns. And I chatted about this yesterday on the call. It's when you need to start advertising. If you're happy just making $100,000 to $150,000 a year in GCI, I don't really think you need online lead generation. You just need to really map out your sphere of influence, your past client list, and get connected with more people. It's when you want to scale and when you want to scale appointments and scale the ability to have conversations with more people, then, I would add an additional lead source. And I chatted more in detail about that yesterday, but I just wanted to dive a little bit more into this is you're tracking, are you using a CRM? are you like, do you know your numbers? Do you know your KPIs? And like, literally, this is what I would do. If you're running any form of online lead generation right now, the biggest piece of advice I would give you is like, track your leads, track your lead to appointment rate, track your clients under contract, track the number of conversations you've had. And then I would literally say convos to leads. And I'd also say convos to appointments. Because the more that you have the ability to actually get in front of people, the more you have the ability to actually do your presentation, the better you're going to get. Like, I think back to a lot of the trainings or a lot of the videos that I did really early on in my career, and it was like pretty bad. Like, it was like I wasn't able to actually form an actual sentence, but it's like you eventually have to start. And the only way you start continually doing a presentation is actually by starting. You start by starting. We wrote about this in our book, What If You Could? The Mindset and Business Blueprint for Your Life of Purpose. And that's really the biggest thing I would say is like consistency, like having the habits, the routines, the wherewithal in order to actually get through the long-term buying cycle is so important, creating those 22 touch points, having the brand and the likability, and then making sure that you're actually tracking your metrics to know what's working and what's not working, and then tweaking the things that aren't working. So I hope you got a ton of value today. Really wanted to provide some value around why online lead generation doesn't work for some people. And it really comes down to those three things is like, it's having a good understanding of, like I said, having a good understanding of the fact of the three different phases, having a good understanding that, it's like when a lead comes in, they're not necessarily a client. And when a prospect, when you're speaking and you're having a conversation with somebody, they're still not a client. But it's like you have to walk everyone through every step of the phase. The phase 3 is obviously client under contract. But in this prospecting phase, it's like, it's so important that like when you're having that conversation with that end consumer for the first time, it's like, it's not, they came in for something. And that's how you got them through the door. They came in for a list of homes. They came in to find out what their home is worth in the market. They came to you for something. Why you? What is your unique selling proposition? What is your USP? Why you? Because I can guarantee you the person that gets in front of that person, the person that gets in front of them with that unique selling proposition, like if I'm targeting waterfront properties, and that's specifically what I'm targeting people who want to sell their waterfront property. And I could run the exact same ad, but with a unique selling proposition of somebody saying, hey, I guarantee you I'm going to sell your waterfront property in 60 days or less, or I'm going to buy the property. Who are you going to go with? You're going to go with the person that gives you the least amount of risk moving forward. And that's really, I've chatted about this before around like unique selling propositions and, risk benefit analysis. That's really the case. So, and maybe that's not right for your business, and that's totally fine, but find that unique hero identity. Really map out, if you're planning to do online lead generation, really know that it's a long-term game plan. You have your lead, you have your prospect, you have your client, but it takes 3 to 18 months to get people from lead to prospect to client. It takes nurturing. It takes the consistency. Coming back to this, it's going to take the 22 touch points. It takes 22 touch points on the front end. It's going to take another 22 touch points on the back end sales process that you're responsible for, no matter what company you work with. That you have to have a good follow-up, back-end follow-up system. It's going to take the fact that you have a great brand, a likability factor, ability to communicate, ability to show that you are better or that you are different than anyone else in the marketplace. And then the third thing, in order to make it work, is the tracking, making sure that you're tracking your numbers. Because I guarantee you, if you track your numbers, you'll know what's working and what's not working. My encouragement is that stop making decisions on what you think isn't working and start making decisions based on the actual numbers. It's something I learned this year, literally on a deeper level this year, and it's absolutely changed the business from a standpoint, especially in that lead to appointment rate. And there's probably different metrics inside your business. Speak to your accountant, speak to somebody who can really help you build KPIs in your business, speak to your coach about this, because it will really impact your business and it'll allow online lead generation to work. So hope you got a ton of value today. I really do appreciate your attention. If you're listening back on iTunes or Spotify, I want to say thank you more than anything. We'll chat with you all soon. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Coffee with Cody.